questions. I wasn't just talking.
Let's catch up. I'm gonna read your intro again. Of course, it's very important. Dr. Cindi
Okay.
Saj is a therapist, author, and educator who's here to make the world a better place. We're talking about how to make the world a better place, guys. There you go. I'm sorry for that.
And then he did ask a question about war, so I
Yes.
wasn't just on a tangent. There was a good question there. And then, yeah, this idea of like, how do I show up in the world? And so, yeah, so hopefully, as any listeners listening right now, hopefully that does make a little bit of sense. And I was not just rambling. There were some questions.
Yes. We were talking. I question her about the war. So, let me ask you that. Imagine you have depression. You're like in the lowest point of your life. What is spark of hope can you reach? Can you look for in order to try to make your life better? You as a therapist, what do you recommend?
Yeah, and acknowledging that life is tough, life is hard. We're all going to have people in our life that we love pass away. We're all going to have family pets pass away. We're all going to, at some point, have some type of tragedy that sucks and that hurts and that feels really lonely and that feels hard and like we can't get through it. And, acknowledging in that moment that it sucks and it's okay to not be okay. It's not always about smiling, right? But sometimes this idea of, hey, it sucks right now, but recognizing in this one moment of time, it's one moment of time, right? The world keeps spinning, the world keeps going, things keep happening. And, kind of holding that space for that depression, that sadness, that loneliness, that whatever the feelings are, unpacking them a little bit to just say, hey, I'm not just sad. I'm actually disappointed. Or hey, I'm not just sad, I'm actually hurt. When we unpack like what actually is causing that depression, and then it gives us kind of a step forward where if you're, disappointed, okay, what does that look like? Are you disappointed in yourself or someone else? If it's someone
Mm-hmm.
else, hey, can we control that? Probably not, right? And so it kind of gives us more to think about where, yes, pity, self-pity and being, lonely in the dark, wrapped up in your blanket might work for an hour or two or even a day or two. But there's some point to say, hey, this does not last forever. This too shall pass. And believing that life is hard, but there's also beauty in life. There's also really good moments in life. Everyone who's been alive up until this day in their life has recognized that, hey, I've gone through shitty things or I've gotten through things that haven't felt so good. And I've had really good moments in the next moment, right? And so things change day to day, minute to minute. And just this idea of just hold on, get through the kind of the storm. And there usually is some type of, light or sunshine after kind of the darkest days.
Hmm. So acceptance, focus on what you can control.
Hmm.
Hold on because it's gonna get better. All right, yeah, that's beautiful. When it comes to the acceptance part, I once heard that a very good way of, and you correct me if I'm wrong, right? Of dealing with it, with dealing with like not being able to accept, is by focusing on your feelings. And by focusing on your feelings, especially if they're in your body, uh, after like you should just sit down. Like let me give an example. You sit down, you close your eyes, and if you're having anxiety attacks or any like chest pains because you're deeply sad because someone passed away, something like that, and by feeling it, it goes away. It's like a cube of ice that melts. Is that the case? Like, first of all, is this true? And if yes, why does it work?
So there's 2 points that I'm going to make. And so
Mm.
the first one is this idea of like name it to tame it. So once you name it, this is the first, idea of acceptance, right? Once you acknowledge what you're feeling. And one of the best tools that I can say for people to download after today, or you can find it in my books, is the emotion wheel. Like getting
Mm.
to know what your feelings are, getting to that feeling wheel. Because even this idea of like anger, okay, like I'm angry. However, I'm naming it, but what actually is it? Like, what am I angry about? Am I angry because I'm in physical pain? Am I angry because I'm in emotional pain? Am I angry because, got hurt? Like, well, what's happening that I'm angry? So when you name it, that's the first step, and then taming it. So name it to tame it in the sense of recognizing what it is, and then recognizing how it shows up for you and why it's showing up for you. And that's kind of the next step to it. And the other point that I wanted to make is that feelings are like farts. And I'll explain that
Okay.
in the way that feelings come up just like farts, and they're big and they're stinky and they kind of smell up the room. But what happens to farts?
Well, they go away.
Yeah, the smell of farts go away, and that's what feelings go away also. So the difference between the two is, a feeling is an emotional kind of like chemical reaction in the brain. The brain has this, explosion of hey, hurt or sadness or even joy. This lasts about, they say 9 seconds. Sometimes I'm hearing 60 seconds, but if we can say 9 seconds, is if you can just kind of hold on for those 9 seconds, that's your fart. That's your stinkiness. And then once that goes away, it gets a little bit easier. But what happens is what people do is that when that feeling comes up, we often stack. We often then start to be like, well, the other time I farted, that really stunk. And the other time I farted, it was really stunk. So we start compiling all these like memories on to the feeling. And then, especially if it's like a I'm not good enough feeling and if I'm hurt feeling, then we start packing on all the other times that we felt hurt or not good enough. And then it's kind of becoming this big, huge like package. And then we're like, well, you know what? I'm going to pour some gasoline on this and light it on fire. And now this feeling is turned into a
Oof.
panic attack, or this feeling's turned into like a huge belief about self, which it doesn't always have to do that. And so feelings literally are these chemical bursts that happen, that dissipate, that go away if we don't give them too much space and time and then evidence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does make sense. But from like life and the different interactions that I had with people throughout my life, I I I I tend to believe that some people have more farts than others, way more
Yeah,
farts than others. And
100%.
what would be the reason for that? Like, why is that?
Yeah. And you know what? We're all different. Like some people are introverts, some people are extroverts, some people love being in a room full
Um,
of people, some people have more experiences with people, some people have more, feelings that they recognize, right? Some people have feelings from